Welcome back to STBM Chicago 2.0. Stay to the end for a blessing of reconciliation and restoration with more Bill Andrews. Let's begin. Have you ever asked how faith guides our lives? Picture this, a man named John. John had everything going for him, a promising career, a loving family, friends who cared for him. But as time passed, the luster of his so-called successful life started to fade. His work became a chore, his relationships strained, and he felt a growing emptiness inside him. He was lost in the wilderness of life, with no compass to guide him. John tried everything to fill the void. He chased after success, thinking it would bring him happiness. He sought solace in relationships, hoping they would provide him with a sense of belonging. But the more he tried, the more he felt disconnected, like a ship adrift in a vast, unforgiving sea. It was during these moments of despair that John turned to faith. He began to understand that faith was not just about believing in a higher power. It was about believing in himself, in his capacity to change, to grow, to love, and to be loved. Faith, he realized, was his compass, guiding him through the wilderness of life. With faith as his guiding light, John began to see the world in a new light. He found solace in the simplest things, like the warmth of the sun on his face, the laughter of his children, the kindness of strangers. He began to appreciate the beauty of life in all its imperfections. He realized that success was not about accumulating wealth or power, but about living a life of purpose, a life guided by faith. And when John stumbled, as we all do, he found strength in his faith. He learned to see his failures not as setbacks, but as opportunities for growth. He learned to forgive, to let go of resentment, to embrace compassion. He learned to love himself, and in doing so, he learned to love others. John's story is not unique. It's a testament to the transformative power of faith, a reminder that no matter how lost we may feel, there's always a way back to ourselves, to our purpose, to our love. When the world seemed to turn its back, it was faith that remained. Ever wondered about the transformative power of faith in one's life? Let's take a journey through the life of a man named John. John was raised in a home filled with faith, but as he grew older, he found himself straying from his spiritual roots. He was drawn to the allure of the secular world, chasing after fleeting pleasures and temporary successes. John was a star athlete in his high school, the pride of his town. He went on to play college football, but his dreams of making it to the pros were shattered when he sustained a career-ending injury. Next, he turned to business, creating a tech startup with a few friends. But just as they were about to break through, the market crashed, and John's dreams were crushed once again. His personal life wasn't any better. He married his college sweetheart, but the pressure of their financial struggles and his unfulfilled dreams led to their separation. The man who once stood tall and proud was now broken and lost. But then, in his darkest hour, John remembered his faith. He remembered the teachings of his childhood, the stories of redemption and the power of grace. He felt a pull towards his roots, a yearning to return to the faith he had once abandoned, and so he did. John returned to his faith, and the transformation was remarkable. He found strength in the teachings he had once neglected. He found solace in prayer, peace in worship, and most importantly, he found hope. His life didn't magically become perfect, but he found a renewed sense of purpose, a strength to face his failures, and a courage to rebuild his life. He found a community that welcomed him back with open arms, ready to support him in his journey. Through faith, John discovered a resilience he never knew he had. He found a light that could shine even in the darkest of times, illuminating his path and guiding him towards a better tomorrow. The story of John is not unique. It is the story of countless individuals who have strayed, suffered, and found their way back through the power of faith. In the darkest of times, the light of faith shines the brightest. Can you imagine the joy of being found, especially when you're not even aware you are lost? Let's consider this through a story. Picture a man named Samuel. Samuel had a life that many would envy. He was a successful entrepreneur, had a beautiful family, and was a respected figure in his community. Yet amidst all of this, there was a constant, nagging feeling of emptiness, like a puzzle piece missing from a nearly completed puzzle. Samuel wasn't religious. He had grown up in a household where faith was not a priority. He'd always believed that he could find fulfillment and happiness through personal achievements and material success. But despite his efforts, the feeling of emptiness persisted. He was lost, but he didn't even realize it. One day, Samuel found himself drawn to a small, humble church on his way home. He couldn't explain why, but he felt a pull, something that made him park his car and step inside. As he sat in the quiet, dimly lit sanctuary, he felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over him. It was a feeling he hadn't experienced before. He felt a connection, a sense of belonging he hadn't realized he'd been missing. Over the following weeks and months, Samuel began to explore this newfound faith. He started attending services, reading spiritual texts, and engaging in prayer. As he delved deeper into his faith, he found that the emptiness he'd been feeling started to dissipate. He found joy, fulfillment, and a sense of purpose that he hadn't experienced before. Samuel's story is not unique. Many of us go through life feeling lost, even if we're not aware of it. We chase after success, money, and material possessions, thinking they'll bring us happiness. But often, it's not until we're found by something greater, something beyond our understanding, that we truly find ourselves. Faith has a way of filling the voids in our hearts and lives. It provides us with a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging, and a joy that is incomparable to anything else. When we're found by faith, we find ourselves. Opening: how can faith create a sense of belonging and community? Let's dive into an inspiring story to illustrate this concept. Picture a woman named Maya. She was born in India, raised in the bustling city of Mumbai, but moved to New York for her studies. Maya was a bright, ambitious woman, but she had always felt somewhat detached, like a tiny boat adrift in the vast ocean of life. In her new environment, the feeling of isolation intensified. She was surrounded by a sea of unfamiliar faces, their conversations echoing with cultural references and jokes that she didn't understand. The loneliness was palpable. It hung in the air around her, a constant, oppressive companion. Then one day, Maya stumbled upon a small, multicultural church in the heart of the city. She was initially hesitant, her faith a flickering flame in the face of her doubts and fears, but the warmth of the congregation drew her in. They welcomed her with open arms, their smiles radiating sincerity and genuine care. They shared their stories, their struggles, their triumphs, and their faith. Through their faith, Maya found a sense of community. She found a group of individuals who, despite their diverse backgrounds and experiences, were united by a shared belief. She found a place where she was seen, heard, and valued. Her faith, once a flickering flame, was now a roaring fire, illuminating her path and warming her spirit. Maya's story isn't unique. Across the globe, countless individuals have found a sense of belonging and community through their faith. It's a testament to the power of faith, not just as a connection to a higher power, but as a bridge connecting individuals from all walks of life, transcending cultural, geographical, and linguistic barriers. So next time you're feeling lost or alone, remember Maya. Remember the transformative power of faith and community. Remember the warmth, the connection, and the sense of belonging that it can bring. Closing: faith doesn't just connect us to a higher power, it connects us to each other. So, why does faith hold such importance in our lives? Let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've been through in the previous scenes. We've explored the question of faith, the power of return, the joy of being found, and the role of faith within a community. As we navigate through life's ups and downs, faith serves as an anchor, grounding us in a sense of purpose, belonging, and hope. Faith, in its many forms, is a compass that guides us. It helps us make sense of the world around us, giving us a framework to understand our experiences and navigate our decisions. When we're lost or uncertain, faith can be the beacon of light that guides us home. It offers us a path to follow when all other roads seem to lead nowhere. Faith also gives us strength. It provides resilience in the face of adversity, allowing us to endure the storms of life with a sense of peace and assurance. When we're faced with challenges, faith reminds us that we're not alone, that there's a higher power looking out for us, offering us support and comfort. Moreover, faith brings joy into our lives. It's the joy of being found, of knowing that we're part of something bigger, something meaningful. It's the joy that comes from feeling connected, from experiencing love and compassion, from being part of a community. Speaking of community, faith plays a pivotal role here as well. It binds us together, fostering a sense of unity and belonging. It encourages us to look beyond our differences, to see the common thread that weaves through all of humanity. It teaches us to love and respect each other, to be compassionate and understanding. So you see, faith isn't just about believing in something. It's about finding meaning, purpose, strength, joy, and community. It's about navigating through life, not alone, but as part of a larger whole. Faith doesn't promise a life without challenges, but it does provide us with the tools to face them.
Whether you choose to visit our YouTube page for enlightening resources or join us in person at our welcoming space at 5237 West Diversey Avenue in Chicago, we are here for you. It's time to discover what you've been missing.